And we work in two press centers. In Kiev, we have Mykhailo Zolotukhin from Foundation for Development of Mykolaiv, Tetiana Kirilova, Public Initiative of Luhansk region, and Andrii Krupnik, Association for Community Self-Organization Assistance. In Kherson Press Center, we have Ivan Dudar. He is headman of Kochubei Village Council, and Oleksandr Moshniahul, Black Sea Center for Political and Social Research. Good afternoon. Do you hear us well? We would like to address you, and we want to ask Ivan. At the site of Kochubei Village Council, it is said that you adopted the strategy of the community by the decision of the session on the last day of winter. So tell us, please, what is this document and how did you adopt it? Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Let's say this document was created together with the Renaissance organization and Black Sea Center for Political and Social Research, supported by Renaissance Foundation. The strategy was, we worked on the strategy for 10 months. We had some people expressed their opinion. We corrected some paragraphs of the strategy in order to meet the requirements of our community. As of today, we carried out a sociological survey of the population of our community. We took into account their opinion, and we had 6 meetings of working group, and as of today the strategy is working. And due to the strategy, in the second round we selected the project of development supported by USAID, and we will work this year according to this project concerning development of milk and milk processing. And we have negotiations to sign the agreement, and it will be done till 15th. And we will create a working group that will continue its work. And people who have cows, they now have support. Also, yesterday I signed an order to create a committee to manage and to implement a strategy of 2017-2027. And this working group, there are 20 people that will coordinate the actions of different funds, different cooperatives and enterprises, different groups of population who are interested to develop the territory of Kochubei United Community. So this is the activity of this committee. So in 10 or 9 months, you did a lot of work in order to create the strategy. Tell us, please, the participation of citizens in this elaboration of the strategy, because we believe that this is a live instrument, and the community tries to help to realize this document. Tell us about the participation of the community in the approval of this document, and how this document is viewed by the community, and what will be the further steps done. And on the last day of winter, we adopted the strategy, and now I believe half year or 1 year we will implement these things, and people were involved from all 14 villages of our community. This was a survey. These were the meetings of the working group, and also in the territory of other villages, people had the opportunity to express their opinion, and there were some recommendations from people to the working group, and we worked on the document, and we introduced all their views in the strategy. And in the territory, there is an NGO that was involved. Also, deputies got involved, doctors, entrepreneurs, educators, and organizations. They all participated. And also pensioners and the representatives of NGOs, we heard their opinion. And young people and high school students, they also expressed their opinion, and they were active in voicing their opinion, and they wanted that their opinion be included in the strategy. And what do you think? What part of people in the community know about the strategy? You mean the share in percent? What do you think? Maybe 70 or 80%, but everyone heard about the strategy because we spoke about it. But I'm not sure that our pensioners, that they understand this work strategy. They understand the word plan. Maybe they do not understand the word strategy. They know our plans. They know the priorities of development, but I'm not sure that they understand what this strategy means. So, of course, essence is important, not simple terms. So we're going back to press center in Kiev. Andrii, as I understand, the Association of Self-Organization Assistance work in different regions. And we heard the story of creation of strategy of the united community in Kochubei. Maybe it is interesting to other communities. Tell us, please, about the experience in other oblasts where you've worked. So the association coordinates the work of 12 centers at the regional level in Kherson, Mykolaiv, Luhansk Oblast centers, and we carried out a survey. We tried to understand to what extent people participate in all levels of unification and development. At Kochubei community took in this rating one of the leading places. And this was in times when they only started to get united, and then they started to involve people. Why it is needed, why we should involve people in the process. And of course, this is important in order that people got involved in this process, not just as an audience, but those who really participate. And working groups emerge that implement these plans. And throughout the country, we have results of 2 stages of decentralization. To some extent, they bring us hope. 366 communities were created, and there were Kochubska community united twice, and this is 17% of all communities in Ukraine. They unite 3,100,000 population. Small communities get united and on the background of the big cities, and the budgets of the communities increased 7 times. And what is interesting in these united communities, they elected 330 headmen, and this is only 20% of the overall number, because in the majority of communities, headmen, they are responsible, and they went from the communities that joined the united communities. And one of our main tasks is to develop these communities in a harmonized way, and they shouldn't just use weaker territories, and in order not to leave everyone behind. And there are some examples of this. I'm not speaking about Kochubei community, but we have such cases. We recommend to communities and the councils and heads of unified communities to adopt statutes envisaging all cooperation between periphery and center, and periphery among themselves. And we have a reserve in this reform. In the first year, only 17 cases we had when communities concluded some contracts, and now 380 communities work on the basis of contracts. And before get united, it is worthwhile to live like in civil marriage and then to conclude a marriage when one unified community is created. Thank you, Andrii. Thank you. Mykhailo, the Fund of Mykolaiv Development, as I understand, is actively involved in the process of decentralization of Mykolaiv region. And maybe you helped Kochubei community. Tell us, please, about the strategy and how you achieved the strategy. Yes, you are right in saying that we helped community to choose the strategy, and strategy is a blue dream based on the wish and real capabilities of the community. And we decided to help united Kochubei community. There were 3 villages and 2 village councils, and we created strategic council. We carried out surveys, and we held meetings, and we established priorities. The State Fund of Regional Development, and people decided where this money should go in periphery, for example, in the Luhansk community. And this meeting, they adopted the statute. We started to help Kochubei community, and we said in order to have everything in order, we should live according to the statute. And there were some procedures of participation of citizens in the forming of strategy. Bureaucracy language is not common to people, but people started to solve the problems by attending the meeting, and that really helped. We carried out a survey through schools, and active villagers expressed their dreams. They said what they wanted. Then we assessed this data, and we saw that it is difficult to find real data because local government was in the towns, not in the villages. They didn't have their own statistics, and we had to do a lot in order to assess this statistics, and Strategic Council was really active. Strategic Council was concluded, and it included the representative of elites, and in the process of strategic planning, we thought that one community is strong and should be united with others, and it happened so that the community in October had re-election, and Kochubei united with the 6 communities, and we have there were 3 then. It was 12 villages, and they had re-election, and the Strategic Council should take into account that there were 3 villages, and they had a port, a Chakov port. This is Kochubei community. They had a Vanyivka village. The main day was Ivana Kupala Day, and Vanyivka became really important, and they elected the headman, is entrepreneur of the community, and also in the Vanyivska community they created a resource center for the whole community, and to a large extent the Ivanivka, they really contributed to the process. And Parutin and Olvia, and Dmitrievka, Ivanovka, Salanchiki and Dmitrievka. This is Bug and Dnieper. They unite on this place, and everyone knows about Kobleva, but Kochubei vineyards, this is the part of Kobleva brand, and we had national sanctuaries and the electric station and port, and everything was good, but there was no wealth. And we explained to people, in order to live wealthy, you should do everything possible to improve. And we created focus groups and the communities that got united. We proposed to the council to include Strategic Council. Their representatives should be included there. And in November and October, there was electoral process. There were 13 deputies. Then there was 26 deputies. We elected the head, the new deputies, and the whole winter it was the process of dispute in what way this community should live. And after the team of the head of the community won in a Kochubei, one second time, they said that they will hurt everyone through the mechanisms of local democracy, and Ivanivka Visolka villages, they got lion's share of financing and for infrastructure subventions and maximum of attention. And that was the reason for the communities who joined, that the interests of periphery villages will be taken into account. And a large extent, winning on the 18th, and this was real struggle, and the strategy, it faced such a hidden stone. This was the position of local oligarchs. We thought that these will be allies, but a lot of people had some agreements, and they were interested in defending their interests. So in order to become wealthy, in order to become strong, the strategy was adopted. First on the session, and inflamed And the people, they really wanted to create a strategy. And there are roads included in the strategy, the roads from remote village Ostrovka, and there is no road to Dmitrivka, and also to establish order in land relationships, and this is fundamental. And the locomotive are three directions. These are the development of infrastructure, tourism, and green energy and the agro sector. And we should create employment to improve agro sector and small business and tourism. And old traditional Soviet-style enterprises, they gave opportunity to survive in the previous system. What can we do in order to have it in the right way? The oligarch, when he creates a road, he should pay taxes and white salaries, so there should be discussion and process in order to create these places of employment. And there were some subventions to the community from the regional, from the Fund of Regional Development. And the strategy envisages creation of our own resources of development. Local democracy plays an important role in this. And there should be proper mechanisms in place. And we are grateful that the network that was developed by the first wave, and this was done supported by Renaissance Foundation. We adopted the strategy. This is the model of strategic development, and we hope that 7 will be supported by Renaissance Foundation to develop plans of implementation, to create programs, and also local democracy, in order not to imitate actions but to implement these decisions in real life. And we hope that in a year we will gather here, and we will tell you about agro industry investments. And I know that in Luganshina, no, we will ask Tetiana about Luganshina. I would like to say that we got Bacilla of democracy. We have a resource center within community. We have strategic council, and we have self-organization bodies. And this will be a driver of business development within community. So maybe we will put it on a schedule that we will hold a press conference next year to analyze the implementation of the strategy. And now I would like to speak about Lugansk Oblast and to ask Tetiana about the strategy. And Pskov community, I got information about the first strategy, and the community and the strategy, they are model for all Ukraine. And this is not the only community in Luganshina. What about the process of unification of communities? And tell us about the strategy itself.
I'm afraid this would be not so vivid, my speech, as previous one. I listened to the previous speech, and I can say that the gender issue is important because this first speaker offers to live according to the contract, and the second speaker offers to live according to some rules. So we worked in Luhansk region. This was rather hard to implement project. There were 11 pilot projects inside it. The main characteristic feature of the pilot project is that when this strategy, these communities just were established and legalized in February, we started developing strategies for them because the communities, they had challenges, what to do, where to move, how to develop, how not to lose villages, how not to create this balance in the development of the community. It was very important to start living from scratch. We supported the communities, we reprofiled them and offered them the right directions. They are village councils and rural areas which we supported. The level of professionalism, the level of readiness of those rural citizens was not adequate to the needs of strategic planning, so we helped them. We provided explanations what for we need the strategies, and the age category of the rural citizens is over 60 years. So we were to adapt everything. As concerns Lugansk region, I offer you to read not only Novopskovsk but also Belokurakin, United Community Strategy. This is the village community. Belokurakina plus 7 adjacent villages were united, and a total of 24 settlements were united in this community. We had worked previously with them before the strategy was established. We developed the strategy till 2020 and the strategic plan till 2026 for them. So they have two strategic documents. They are a full-scale document for short-term and long-term planning purposes. The strategy of data collection, they differed. We didn't have information for 2014-2015 because regional departments were evacuated, such as social welfare department and employment center department. And many archives were lost. They were not evacuated. Much data was lost. We tried to restore the data, and some items we took some average statistical data, approximate data. Several times we had meetings to discuss analysis, to analyze strengths and weaknesses of the community. And every time we tried to decide whether 100 kilometers of the frontier with Russia, whether this is a threat or this is a strength. We decided that as we have a rural area, don't have transport infrastructure due to the warfare. The room for work is very large. Jointly, we we put efforts for future, and in 2016 we already supported the community, and they wrote 26 projects thanks to our assistance. So dozens of millions hryvnias we helped to invest into the development of these communities. They just didn't waste money. They didn't put those money into just replacement of windows. We communicated them that this is good to establish utilities enterprises, and this would be an opportunity for growth of the community or some other industrial enterprises for production of tiles and so on. One of the communities which we supported submitted application to USAID, and it was accepted. So now the USAID work only with those communities which had these strategies adopted. Well, I'd like to say that we have tried and mastered unique methodology. There are methodologies for individual settlements, but we have developed the methodology. We tried the methodology which was tried via our 11 pilot projects. We want the donors, including the state, the government, who will be working with other communities. We want them to take our experience to replicate our best practices. So only 3% of communities have development plans adopted, so all of the other communities, they need such planning, and we should provide the rightful vector, the rightful direction for them. I have specifying question. The initiative of strategic plan writing, the initiative is yours, but not of the community. It might be the weakness. So how to work with communities so that they see the value of writing strategy, so that they initiate strategic planning. Strategic planning is fixed in our legislation. With these communities, we had worked previously when they were in the process of uniting. And after the elections, this was the right time to write strategies. Talking about Renaissance Foundation, it provided the resources, the inputs in the correct time, so everything matched, both the willingness from the goodwill from the bottom, from the grassroots, and our efforts which we were willing to input. There is no dissonance or disbalance in this. Let's return to Kherson Media Center. Ms. Tetiana said that working on the strategy, this strategy development is important, will be important as the example, best practice for other regions. So Kherson region may be also will use this experience. Kochubei community in Kherson region last year was the first one. Now you have many united communities. So how you are going to replicate the experience of Kochubei community? First, I would like to remind the conditions, the context in the Kherson region before the process of uniting of communities. Colleagues from other regions telling about their communities, and we envy because we do not have so many inputs and resources. Starting our work with Kochubinsk community, we saw the motive, we saw that they are motivated and they used their small inputs, but hoped for governmental support. It was difficult to work because there were no perfect models of self-government and governance and use of small inputs. So we understood that without strategic development planning, these resources which are not large, they just could be very fast used, and we will have no resources longer. First, as Ivan Ivanovich said, the Committee of Strategy Implementation has already been established, and as far as I know, Ivan Ivanovich invite all expert groups involved in united communities to this committee, so that Kochubinsk community become the platform where different expert groups and community members can try the implementation of strategy as a best practice example. Many NGOs now here to our briefing, and we hope that uniting the efforts of donors and NGOs, we can help to our 11 united communities, and in future we will have more, and we can help them to transfer to strategic planning. Ivan said that we have requests for strategy writing. Now we lack financial assistance. If communities have no high quality strategies, the community members will not support such strategies. Summarizing, I'd say that we can use Kochubinsk best practice and replicate it and offer to united communities in Kherson region such an additional service which will enable them to develop, to draft strategic documents. Mr. Andrii, before your comment, I'd like to add, as it was already said, communism can't be created in an individual country, so welfare can't be created in an individual community. As concerns self-sufficiency or capacity, capacity could not be merely economic. It should include the social, psychological, and other aspects. The second point, without capacity of districts, you can't build the capacity of regions. So united communities, they also should some way interact with not united communities and have interaction with the regional administrations. Last month we conducted a roundtable discussion with Odessa administration, where we discussed the purpose-oriented method, and all the issues should be addressed in an integrated manner. Thank you, Mr. Andrii. Now we have this session of questions and answers at Kherson Media Center. Do you have questions from journalists? Do you hear us? Can you tell us? Tell us, please. Introduce yourself, please. Good afternoon. I wonder, many of us were born in villages. That is why the topic is of great interest. I would like to ask about small villages. If we take the example of already established communities, how the process is carried out? Who do you address this question? Maybe to Kherson region. Well, you are welcome. Ivan, please. I'm specifying the question because we haven't heard it well. The question is about the development of villages, how small villages will be developed, what prospects of their development is. In Kochubeinsk community, I'd like to give an example of Kochubeinsk community. We have 14 villages. All villages are engaged. Some of them are peripheral communities. In our community, we implemented various projects. The approach was an integrated one, because in some villages, small villages, we do not have any infrastructure, any shops. So we addressed everything in a complex, in an integrated manner. The executive councils demonstrated the understanding of the challenges, and rather balanced decisions were taken. For example, about street lighting, 7 settlements out of 12 received the lighting, street lighting were installed. For example, Kochubei at the central village of the community, As concerned street lighting, we didn't install it in Kochubeivka because small villages really needed this street lighting more. In such remote villages, we carried out the installation of street lighting fixtures, and the population there understood, felt that we care about them. So in the 7 villages, we have implemented these plans of street lighting installation. We approached the projects such as ambulance development, and the whole population of our territory are provided services of ambulances, because although it is based in Kochubeivka central village, our citizens, rural citizens, they could not even imagine that they can call for urgent assistance, for urgent medical assistance, and the ambulance would come to their places. We had 4 schools in our territory. Now we transferred to the base school, and we plan an overhaul. We will replace windows in all 4 schools buildings. In Kochubeivka, when we united, this school in Kochubeivka became the base school. What? In other 3 segments, we also carried out overhauls of school buildings. Thank you, Mr. Ivan. I think that the discussion in Kherson Media Center will continue, but unfortunately we have the next briefing fast. Thank you to our speakers for coming. We hope that in 1 year we will discuss the implemented strategies. If you have any willingness to meet us before, you can just ask.